She teaches psychology at UNF and has authored some books that give children with learning disabilities superpowers and a voice, and is trying to raise awareness. Dr. Tracy Alloway is turning the common phrase, "not all heroes wear capes," into a reality with her new children's books, a series of 4 that highlight a child with a learning disability and how that disability has made them special. Joining me now, UNF Associate Professor of Psychology and author, Dr. Tracy Alloway. Hey, good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So I guess you realize that children with learning disabilities never really had a voice, and now you want to give them that voice.
That's right. So I spent the last 15, 20 years working with this community, working with national organizations, and I hear 2 things. One, I hear the parents saying, telling me, oh, Johnny's playing with the pet turtle at lunchtime and he doesn't really have any friends. And on the other side, I hear the other kids saying, why do they behave this way? And I wanted to show that not only do they have these challenges, but they do have these superpowers, these real strengths.
When you've had the parents, expose the kids to these books, has there been an aha moment for the parents as well?
Oh, they've been so excited. There's a great identification. They'll say, she looks just like my daughter. I have to get this for my goddaughter, my niece. I've just been overwhelmed by the emails and the responses I've been getting because they're seeing the behaviors, they're seeing even what the characters look like, and they're seeing people they know in those behaviors.
How about the turning point for the kids and the realization that, okay, I've got this situation here, but, I can overcome it. There's a turning point.
Yeah, that's right. So, for example, a child with ADHD, their superpower that I talk about in the book is what we call hyperfocus. And so they have this real ability to be able to remember these verbal conversations. And so Izzy, the main character in the story, the pet rabbit, her food goes missing, and Izzy, jumps on the table to try to remember these conversations. And it's like these little verbal breadcrumbs. She follows them and she says, oh, I remember this conversation and this conversation. And then she plays detective and solves the mystery.
Can I almost create a sports analogy here? You have a hurdle, and sometimes you go, I don't know physically how to get over that hurdle, but when you identify the ability to jump it, you've got a metaphorical hurdle here. And when the kid identifies that, they can actually do it?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And I think sometimes, and it's great, we need to have that support in place, but a lot of times the focus is so much on the challenges that we forget to celebrate their strengths, and we forget to have a strength-based model of learning, of education, saying they do have this, whether it's a photographic memory or this hyper-focus when it comes to remembering information.
What was the challenge in writing these books?
For me, the biggest challenge, I've written 13 books, and this is the hardest thing that I've written because you have such a short space and you have to communicate these emotions. You want to convey what it's like to be nervous as a young child when they're, facing these challenges. But my publishers were great, but definitely the challenge was being able to put all those emotions in a short space and being able to show, physically how these kids feeling, butterflies in the stomach for nervousness, for example.
How many times did you have to rewrite that?
A lot, Brian. That's what I did all summer.
All right, so the 4 titles?
Yep, so I have one on dyslexia called the MAP Challenge. I have one on ADHD called the Classroom Mystery. I have one on autism called the Perfect Project, where they go to the science fair. And I have one on social anxiety, where the young girl has to do a show and tell, and we look to see what happens there.
So for the parents out there who have children with these challenges, where can they get these books?
They're on Amazon right now.
All right, very good. So you can buy all of Dr. Alloway's books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the usual places. And we'll make it easy for you. Post a link on our website, newsforjacks.com, as well as a link to this interview if you want to revisit it, and certainly share it with a mom or dad who has a child with a challenge and wants to become a superhero and put on a cape. Just look for this story a little later this morning on the Morning Show page.